Alright, so I dug out all the holes for the coconuts. Some are a little deeper than others depending on how long the roots were, because you want to make sure that you leave enough room for those roots. These two had much smaller roots, so the holes are a lot more shallow. So right here you can notice that the ground is sand, which is totally fine. Coconuts love sand. I am going to add some compost and the fish manure, like I said. So let me fill in these holes and then we will show you what that looks like. All right, so I'm adding the compost here, and I just sprinkle a little of the fish manure on top. You don't want to do too much, and then I just mix it in so it's not just sitting on top. And since it's a little clumpy, I'm just breaking up some of the clumps, and I can add a little more dirt as well. So what I did here, I did the same for all the other ones over here, and then what I did was I took the seed that we're gonna plant, and I made sure it's positioned correctly for the hole. So you can see right here that the roots are a little bit longer on this side, and you want to make sure that you're planting so that the tree stands straight up. So it made sense for me to place it in this area right here where the roots can spread out, okay? And then this part right here is holding this up, so it will stay straight. I will then add more dirt around it. This one didn't have much roots, so we just stick it right here. I'm gonna add just a little more dirt to about this level right here, and I will show that in a second. And then this one as well, I placed right in here. It has a very small root. We're gonna stick it here. It's important that you don't pack down the dirt and you keep it very light, because you want the roots to be able to get out from the coconut and go into the ground. So now we're gonna check the roots on this one and figure out how we will place this one as well. You also want to keep in mind the other plants that are near it and how it will look once planted. So I did walk around the area and look around a few times to see if I felt like it looked right. I did kind of a clumping method because that's what happens naturally in nature when the tree drops the coconuts, and you should always mock what nature does for best success. So it looks like right here we would plant this one like this, because as you can see, the roots have plenty of room down here. They will be able to go in and spread out. You can even scoot it over a tiny bit so that the longer roots have plenty of room. As you can see, they're all covered. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some more dirt here, and I'll show you that. Now, I received these trees free off of Facebook. I encourage you to join Facebook groups if you're interested in learning how to take care of plants and getting plants. Like I said, I always do this on a budget. You should not spend a lot of money. When I first started gardening, I would spend $200 sometimes in a season, and then it actually became less fun for me because it was, getting so expensive. And then I started to realize that this is not necessary. So I drove an hour today to go pick this up from a lady who had a coconut tree, and she just didn't want the sprouts and had no need for them, and she kindly gave them to me. And I just want to make sure that there's enough dirt around it so that it can stay stable and it's not going to fall over after I'm finished planting. And I will pat it down a little bit just so it stays in place. But remember, you want to keep it soft and light so that the roots can come out. So you really don't want to pack it down at the bottom when you're first putting it in and you're doing the fish manure. Don't pack it down at that point. Also, I believe that we'll be getting a storm today. Planting right before a storm is always great. It helps push down the roots more into the ground when it rains, and also immediate water for the plant. I'm gonna make sure all the roots are covered. And then I'll have to get another bag. Okay, now you can see that they're all in the ground perfectly. They're stable. Pretty much 2/3 of the coconut is in the ground. That's all they need, just a shallow hole. And then after this, I'm going to water. It should rain tonight, but that way, in case it doesn't, because here in Florida, sometimes we do hear thunder, but we may not get the rain. So I will water and make sure that they're well hydrated. Normally, I do water the ground before I put the root part in, and then I put the top. Sorry, mosquitoes are getting me. I put the top layer and then water again. But this time I was rushing, so I'm just gonna water the top, and that's fine too.